Welcome to your video guide for travel healthcare. I'm Kay from Travel Nursing Newbies, and today we're going to discuss finding the right agency. So come on and join us now. Travel healthcare just got easier.
Hi, I'm Chris Eales, the CEO of PHP. It's an honour for us to support the Travel Nursing Newbies website. This website fits well with our own desire to provide travel nurses with the best possible service. There are many choices out there, but I sincerely hope you will consider PHP, as we've been providing professionals like you with award-winning service, pay and benefits since 1995. Please contact us using the information below.
One of the biggest questions that I get from my newbies, and I have a Facebook newbie group, and that is we see it like maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Which company is best for me? Well, you know, there's about 400 companies out there. So this is really a trick question because we need to figure out which one of those 400 is right for you. So we're going to go through that. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to find the right company for you. And if we do it right the first time, I've had companies. I've had one that I was with for 4 years, one that I was with for 5 years, 3 years. So if you find a good one, you can keep it, keep your recruiter. So we're going to go over just a little bit of tips and tricks on how to find the right one the first time. So who's the best company to me? First of all, we're going to go through the company structure. It's very important that you know who the players are in the company so that you understand the company structure. So that way when you get a call from Wanda in credentialing, well, you'll know who Wanda in credentialing is. If you get a call from Valerie, who is an assistant, then you'll know that Valerie is your recruiter's assistant. There's several people that whenever they call you, I want you to know who they are and what the company structure is and who the players are. If something goes wrong with your recruiter, you need to know that chain of command to go up and to get things fixed. So that's our first instruction, is going to get you to know what the company structure is. The next thing we're going to do is take an inventory of your needs. Okay, what are you looking for in a travel assignment? What are you looking for in a company? There are several different factors that we can personalize this search just for you. Once we make we're going to make 2 different lists. One of companies that supply your needs, one that supply your benefits. We're going to meld those together, narrow down that field, and see what resources are available to do that. There's several ways that we can do this. By narrowing down that field, then you can work with 2 or 3 companies as a newbie. I wouldn't go more than 3, but then we'll teach you how to go with 2 or 3 different companies and to find that perfect assignment for you. Next, as all good nurses, we know that we assess, we implement, and then we evaluate. So next we're going to evaluate whether that company and that recruiter is going to work for you, and do you want to stay with them or do you want to move on? Okay, the structure of the company. You are going to be talking mostly with a recruiter. The thing you need to know about recruiters is that you have a recruiter. The recruiter may have an assistant. Lots of times they do a data entry, fax stuff, work on some of them even work on credentialing and all of that paperwork. Your contracts may be even inputted into the system. Your submission will be inputted into the system by a recruiter assistant. Then you have, of course, your recruiter, and then above that you will have a recruiting manager, a branch manager. Some companies come up with these other lead personal assistant or whatever. They've come up with some really ingenious different titles, but there'll always be some kind of a recruiting manager on staff. Another thing that going up the line, you will have a CEO, you'll have the C-suite, okay? The C-suite is your CEO, Chief Executive Officer, your CFO, chief financial officer, CNO, which is your chief nursing officer, and then a lot of these companies now have a chief clinical nursing liaison. Okay, that person is there for you as a resource to help you in case you have a clinical question. One time they put me on the renal floor. The nearest dialysis whenever I was growing up was 125 miles away. I have absolutely no clue about renal or oncology, okay? Whenever they put me on the renal floor, I actually had to call the clinical nurse liaison because they were wanting me to do things that were out of my scope of practice. That is what that person is for, to help you decide whether or not what is the best next step. They ended up calling the house supervisor, and the charge nurse did all of my procedures, which is not the best of situations, but that's as good as that situation was going to get. If it wasn't for the clinical nurse liaison, then I really don't know, what I would have done. But just be aware that you do have that person as a resource. I know a lot of the companies have them during the day, but there are companies who have them also on call at night. A nurse-owned company is really where you're going to get your best bang for your buck with a clinical liaison, because they're always on call. If you have a good personal one, I prefer to work with the little smaller companies that do have these resources readily available. Of course, your larger companies probably are going to have somebody who is on call 24 hours a day. Your recruiter doesn't do everything. You also have support staff. The most important support staff, of course, is payroll. Very important that you get in your timesheet by Monday at noon. If you don't, that payroll person is going to give you a call. Hopefully, if you're working for a great company, that payroll person might be calling you, might be sending you an email reminding you, hey, didn't get your timesheet. It's like, oh man, I faxed it upside down again. Things happen. So, man, payroll, you might have to talk to them on Monday morning if you don't have a paycheck on Friday. So, payroll is a very, very important person. Companies have a housing department. This department isn't as active as it once was, but your housing person is going to help you to find housing. If you're taking your own housing, a lot of them will help you with resources that they have in the different areas. The next person, which is going to be your least favorite person, is very important though, because you need to get in your credentials. Okay, so you're gonna be known very well by the QA, or the quality assurance or credentialing assistant, and they're gonna kind of be a pain in the patootie at times, but they're a pain because they need to be, and you need to get in your credentialing in a timely manner. So if you get your credentialing, we're going to go over that in a different video, but if you get your credentialing ready to go, then this person is going to be a nice person to you, and I'm going to send you reminders and not send you, you're starting on Monday, it's Friday, when you're going to get your fit test. So be aware that they're out there and that they do have your email address and your phone number. So be very nice to these people and get your credentialing in. And we're going to go over credentials in another video. So we'll have you all set up and ready to go. Account managers. This person you probably will never talk to is the account manager, but they are very important to you because they are dealing with the hospitals. Where you have a contract with the agency, the account manager is the person who goes in between the agency and the hospital. So they set up your contract with the hospital. So these people you might not see, but they're very important, and you need to know what their job is. And their job is to go to the hospital. Even if you have a problem during the middle of a contract, go back to your recruiter, who is going to go to the account manager, and that is when you may see a letter or get a phone call from the account manager saying, hey Kay, you know, what's really going on? How can I help you? Contact the hospital. Taking an inventory of your needs. Okay, where do you want to go? Where do you want your career to take you? Are you looking to start out in maybe a middle-sized hospital and work up to a level 1 trauma center? You can take small steps. I know that once you're in a specialty, it's hard to switch the specialty, but you can take small steps. I started out, as I said, in a critical access, and I went to a small level 1 trauma center. Didn't get much work in the trauma center, but I got to learn a lot by watching and assisting and helping. You know, where do you want to go? Are you looking for that's the thing about travel healthcare, is that you can go wherever you want to go. You can go to a small hospital, you want to go to a large hospital. You know, if you want teaching opportunities, it's all there for you. Where are you looking to go? You know, of course, the dream assignments are Hawaii and Alaska. They are very fun. I've never been to either one after doing this for 15 years. So there's some more exciting places out there. My personal favorite has actually been Gallatin, Tennessee, which is right outside of Nashville. We just love the Nashville area. But with travel healthcare, you have the choice. Where do you want to go? I've taken off the wall assignments like South Dakota. Who wants to go to South Dakota in the middle of the winter? As I was saying on the other video, got to drive my car out on the lake, and you know, you just don't do that in Oklahoma. So you have all these places and opportunities to go to where, you know, you've never even thought about going. South Dakota and the Black Hills. Been to Washington and Oregon. Oh my gosh, let me tell you. And I want to say it was in 2008, I spent 6 months on the side of a hill with the shrimp. The shrimp company was just a mile down the hill and in Tillamook Bay. And that was so excited to have. We were in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with just the two of us on the side of a hill with a shrimp company down there. And I would have never thought in my wildest dreams that travel nursing would let me, you know, wake up in the morning to the sound of waves and seagulls. And, you know, another thing is, what are your skills and what job assignments are available? If you are ICU, OB, another popular, ER. If you're one of those, even Med-Surg Tele now is really climbing up in the ranks. If there are quite a few opportunities. I did telemetry for several years. I also did rehab for several years, and now I am the last 5 years I've been traveling as a house supervisor. House supervisor in rehab, I have to pretty much go where the jobs are. If you're ER, when I was ER, I could go anywhere that I wanted to. So that's another thing to look at if you're a new nurse and looking into travel nursing, is which of the specialties are you going to have the most opportunities in. Another thing that will determine your where you want to go is activities. Do you like snowboarding, skiing? Right now I have a person that I'm helping find a job in Vail, Colorado, because she wants to go skiing and be in that area. So there's lots of different locations that you can go to where you're looking for. Make an inventory, write it down on a piece of paper of where do you want to go, where do you want your career to take you. I personally am snowbird. I love to go to Arizona or California during the winter and then come back to Idaho during the summer. What kind of a salary are you looking for? This is another need. You need to figure out how much are your bills at home? What exactly do you have to bring home? Because remember, we are duplicating expenses. We're still having to pay our rent at home, our utilities, and all of that to keep. Now, your utilities and stuff will decrease because you're not at home, but still you have to make all your insurance payments, your upkeep on your house. Plus, you've got your assignment expenses also. Now, your reimbursements are going to be covered by your paycheck, your non-taxable, if you do have a tax home. So you're going to be reimbursed for your assignment expenses, but still you need to figure out how much do you need to cover your expenses at home and your expenses on your assignment. Figure those two out, and that's what you absolutely cannot go below whenever you're looking for an assignment. Salary, also, what do you need? What kind of nest egg do you have saved up? I personally recommend at least 3 months. I know that people have taken off with credit cards in hand and with no emergency fund. The company, I don't know of any company that automatically will cover all of your costs to your assignment, including, if you're going to do your housing, you've got pet deposits, you've got your regular deposits, you've got to turn on the electricity, the utilities, the internet, the cable. You've got a bunch of expenses to start up to that assignment. You have to pay to get to that assignment, and it just depends on what gas prices are. If you're traveling in California, Washington, Oregon, especially in the summer, you're going to have to budget a little bit more for gas. There's all kinds of expenses that go on when you're a traveling assignment. And what about if you get there and you're canceled for a week? Yes, you're still on assignment, but chances are that the reality of it is that the company isn't making any money because you're not working. So they don't have the money to pay you for your expenses for that week. So how are you going to pay for your RV park for a week? You need to have some money saved up or a good credit line on your credit card, which that is absolutely not, that would be a last resort for me. If you're going to plan on getting into travel health care, plan on some extra money for expenses. What have you saved up for retirement? This is what's your financial future. Travel health care is great in the fact that, yes, you do tend to make you do tend to make more money at an assignment than at home. But right now, bill rates have been so low that some contracts just aren't worth taking because of the rates are so low. So you really need to know where your financial future is and look, on your specialties and getting into travel health care. That's one thing you need to consider also is what kind of salary do you need for your future? Does the company have a 401k? What kind of retirement do they offer? Where do you want your travel health care career to take you? Are you looking to increase into a different specialty, getting all these different... The great thing about travel health care is that every hospital system does something different. There's many roads to Rome. You just need to remember that when in Rome, you need to do as the Romans. Where do you want your career to take you? Do you want to increase your thought process or your career in cardiac medicine, or do you love where you're at? So that's just another thing that you need to consider whenever you're looking at going into travel health care. Other benefits, what kind of skills and job assignments are available. It doesn't matter if you're in a critical access or a level 1 trauma center. You're going to be learning things, and what kind of place do you prefer? In a level 1 trauma center, you may have 3 doctors and a cardiologist and a neurologist in there helping you with a case. If you're in a critical access, you have to rely on your critical thinking skills, because you may have you and a charge nurse and the doctor, and that is all. So figure out when you're going into travel nursing what are the benefits you're looking for? Where are you looking for education? How much do you want to use your critical thinking skills? Where's your comfort level? Do you operate better with a good support team, or can you function with a little bit of autonomy? Narrowing down the field. You know, there's 400 companies up there. Which one is best for you? How are we going to narrow down this field? What do the reviews say? There's 3 main review sites. One is Travel Nurse Central, one is Gypsy Reports, and of course my favorite is Highway Hypodermics. We review both hospitals and agencies there. What are the others saying on social media? This is trying to a trick question, and the fact that you can't believe everything that's on Facebook. I know, shocker, but no, you can't. That's like you can't believe everything that you read on the internet. Some of the best places on Facebook is some of the good travel nursing groups. There's Travelers and Recruiters Unite. There's Traveling the Country One Hospital at a Time, and Travel Nursing Newbies. We also have, to help you pick out a great company, we have a top 10 travel nursing job group. Another old-fashioned one is Delphi Forums and Traveling Nurses and Therapists. Perhaps the younger generation, you millennials, you do this Instagram thing. I'm a Gen X. I don't understand the Instagram. But you know, there's Instagram and there's Twitter and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where you're going to do a lot of research on your companies and your recruiters. You can do a lot of research there. Highway Hypodermics, we not only do evaluations, but we have a list of the travel companies and their benefits, plus profiles, plus we have a lot of recruiters on there. The next one that you're going to look for is make a list of what benefits do you need. Do you need insurance? Another benefit would be your 401k. Does the company have a 401k? Do they match any? What kind of salary are you looking for? Whenever you're shopping for a company and an assignment, a smart thing to do is to get different pay packages from the different companies. I have this little chart that just in Excel so that I can compare the benefits side by side, and you know, what's the cost of this benefit, and what's this company going to give me, what this company is going to give me, and what is this one, so that you can compare apples to apples here. As we talked about earlier, budget out what salary you need to bring home, because that will affect which company you choose because of salary. And then we have the ultimate list of travel companies, which has the different benefits. So we have on Highway Hypodermics, the website, we have a list of the companies and their benefits to where you don't have to go searching all over the place. Once you make your list, I prefer to list which 5 to 7 companies have the assignment I want, which 5 to 7 have the benefits that I want, and then kind of meld those 2 lists together so that you can figure out which one has the benefits, which one has the salary that you're looking for. Get talking to the recruiters. Contact the recruiter about the exact locations and the salary you want, the locations they have, and the positions, and see what they have to offer. That's my biggest thing as a house supervisor and as a rehab nurse, is that I pretty much had to take whatever company had the job at the time. If you have a hard to find specialty, then you might be looking at the bigger companies that have more assignments. I prefer the medium companies that they have good benefits and they have a good number of assignments, but there are also some very good smaller companies out there. Discuss the benefits with your recruiter, discuss the hospital. Let the recruiter know exactly what kind of hospital and what kind of area you're looking for. And you may have to do a little bit more explaining. Whenever I first got into travel healthcare 15 years ago, they told me that they were going to send me to a small town. I said, "Oh, that sounds just perfect for me. Let's go to a small town." I said, how big is this small town? She says, oh, okay, it only has 90,000 people in it. I'm like, holy mackerel, Andy. 90,000? I live in a town of 990. You know, that's my definition of small town, and that recruiter's definition of small town was not the same. So, you know, talk to your recruiter, let them know exactly what you're looking for, and if you're looking for a metro area or a small town, make sure that they know exactly what size of town you're looking for. Look up crime reporting. There's a website that'll tell you the crime rate. So, you know, you look at the crime rate because that may make a difference in what kind of hospital you want. You can also go to a hospital in a downtown but live on the outside of town. We had this one place, my first assignment in Phoenix, they wanted to send me to a downtown hospital. And I'm like, well, okay, that sounds fine with me. And then I found out that downtown hospital is the one that the ladies of the evening worked. And so it's like, oops, no, I'm out of that one. So I did have a plan. My husband was going to drop me off at the front door, but we found something else better and not quite so scary part of. And, you know, if you're used to a big city, that may not be a big deal to you, but this little old country girl, yeah, we're not going downtown unless we absolutely can't find anything else. But that's the joys of travel healthcare, is that you can do whatever you want in this job, in this career. So another thing you want to do is compare the rates of 3 different offers. There's some companies who, all the companies have a little bit of a change in their pay structure. So they may have the same assignment, but you may have better benefits and less salary. The thing that you really need to realize as a newbie is that there is a thing called a bill rate, and that's a whole new different ball game. But that's what the company or the hospital is paying the company. The company has certain limits that they have certain formulas that they figure out how much you're going to get, how much out of that bill rate that you're going to get. But whether you're spending it on benefits or housing or salary, there's only a certain amount of money that is available. So evaluating and moving forward, you know, this is just part of the nursing process. We're going to do an assessment. We're going to what companies are out there. We're going to find out which companies we want to submit to, and then we're going to evaluate and move forward. Another thing with submissions, make sure that the company, that if you're working with 2 or 3 companies, make sure that they do not submit you to the same hospital. That's a big no-no in travel healthcare, because it confuses the hospital, and they're like, you know, can't you find a job with just one company? Why are you putting in 2 or 3 applications for the same job? Let them know that this is the company that you're with for this assignment, and don't let them submit you without your knowledge. The only time that you should submit without explicit permission is that if you're in a hard to find specialty like mine. I was only working with one recruiter, and you can't do this with several recruiters. I was working with one recruiter, and she did have permission that if there is a job that comes up, that you can go ahead and submit me, because there's house supervisor jobs are very few and far between. So that was okay, because I was only working with one recruiter. If you're working with more than one recruiter, which there's recruiters understand that you're doing this, then absolutely do not have them submit you to the same hospital. Okay, so evaluating and moving forward. So how was your first assignment? How was orientation? How did they treat you on the floor? Did your company, if there was there problems, did your company go to bat for you if something went wrong? If something didn't went wrong, then hey, your company did a great job at finding you the right assignment the first time. Was your housing within reason? How did your recruiter treat you? Were they a used car salesman? I cannot stand, I know it's a sales job, recruiters, but you need to find a recruiter that doesn't want to just sell you a piece of property in a hospital for 13 weeks. Find one that actually gets to know you. I have a recruiter now that, let's see, my son is out of the house since 2008. She still remembers his birthday to this day. So find a recruiter that is interested in you and what you want, and not just getting you placed somewhere so that they can get that commission. Did they stand behind you? Did they take care of problems promptly? If your paycheck was wrong, did they submit it to payroll? Did they take care of it promptly? Did they send you a wire transfer on the weekends? If that's important to you, then that can go into your evaluation process of whether or not you want to keep this same company. And then cruising on to our next assignment. You should start to look for your next assignment about 4 weeks before you're ready to go. And again, if you stick with the same company, then a lot of things you do not have to renew. Your yearly stuff you do not have to renew. If you switch companies, then it's like starting all over again. So it is an advantage to stick with the same company, but there's nothing against you going to another company, another hospital, to get exactly what you want out of your healthcare career. How do we end all of this in success? By understanding the structure of the company, taking inventory of your needs, and narrowing down the field that you want in. You can have a great first assignment. I've taken over 30 assignments now. I've had 2 that I absolutely would not return to. Don't wander around into this aimlessly. Get on Facebook, get on groups, get on Twitter, search the internet, find the answers to your questions. You don't have to roam around and not know the answers. Again, Travel Nursing Newbies, our Facebook group, there is absolutely no stupid question. There's no dumb questions. I'm on there way more than I should be to help you out. So, there's other good ones too out there. So don't go into this blindly with questions. Come to the newbies group. We can answer your questions. Do your research and have a great travel career. Okay, here's to you and finding your next great company.